Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Horizon Vibe. In case you've just tuned in, this is your number one. It's always a live audience, but due to COVID, we can't have anyone here. You know, we can't have the audience here aside from the crew. Mr. James Onen, aka Fat Boy.
What's up, Mr. Calvin? How you doing?
Fresh, awesome.
Great.
It's a pleasure hosting you on a Horizon Vibe.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
And this should, I think, is your first time to visit Broadcast House.
Yeah, you know, because when I heard UBC, I thought, you know, the old buildings, like we remember from back in the day.
Yeah.
But hey, this place looks really swanky.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, is this even Kampala? Really?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. There's been a lot. You've been trending this whole week. There's a lot to talk about. I know even those that are watching can equally be involved on our social media pages. If you have any questions for Fat Boy, you can send it through production. I think later on we shall also give people an opportunity to call in live on the show in case you have anything to say. Now, 21 years on radio. That doesn't come that easy.
21 years, a long time, huh?
Yeah, that's a
How
long
old are you,
time.
Mr. Calvin?
I am 32. I'm turning 32.
All right, so that means, let me try some math here.
Yeah.
You would have had to be what? 21 minus, like what, 7, 8 years old?
Like 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, so you were a little kid when I started.
I can imagine.
Do you have kids now?
I have a son, 1 year old. Yeah.
So you listened to me when you were a kid.
When I was a kid,
and your son is listening to me when he's a kid. How's
That's quite interesting. Now, take us through your journey. 21 years on a radio. I know I've seen people who show up, you do radio TV for 2 years, you disappear. You know?
Yeah, and you know, it's an interesting thing. In Uganda, there's this attitude that success is measured by how many times you move places.
Yeah.
See, and particularly in my industry and media in general, you know, you've been in that place for 2 years? My God, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
It's like your life is, aren't you ambitious? Shouldn't you be looking for other things? And so there's this constant push to always be somewhere else within 12 months, within 2 years. And so you've a lot of people who've sort of jumped from place to place. But then here's the problem. In this industry, what you need is brand recognition.
Yeah.
The market is saturated. There's so many people going in and out of the industry. It's hard for audiences to keep track of who is who.
Yeah.
So it actually helps. It's a great benefit for anyone in this profession anyway.
Yeah.
You know, to build a name, to be somewhere and to grow. And so I look at some of my contemporaries who, you know, jumped at offers that they were given, you know, every few years. They'd go from place to place. And right now, you know, not too many people remember them. But so I see an advantage in, you know, being someplace and building your name and also your worth. So the 21 years that I've put into this business, I think, is something that I treat as a very valuable asset.
Oh yeah. 21 years at Sanyu FM, was it because you didn't have any opportunities to hop from one radio station to another?
No, I mean, I was constantly getting offers, constantly. Stations were asking me, they would take me to meetings, to dinners, to trips, they'd wine and dine me and schmooze me, trying to get me to hop on board. And, you know, they were offering me much more money than what I was getting. But I was happy to be where I was because, well, first of all, I felt comfortable there. I was familiar with the people and the surroundings. I had a good relationship with the management at that time. They pretty much allowed me to do what I wanted to do. And so I also wasn't too keen on jumping to another place that wouldn't give me the same freedom. So I stayed there. Despite all the offers, I stayed there for all these years just so that I could keep growing my name.
Yeah. Joining radio, how did you join radio? How did you find yourself in this industry?
Well, it wasn't planned for. You know, a lot of people that show up at radio stations asking for jobs, they say, I've dreamed of being on radio my whole life. Please, can I have this opportunity?
Yeah.
Because I used to be the program director at Sanyu for a while.
Yeah.
And I keep meeting people like that asking for jobs. And I would always tell them, yeah, I'm glad you had those dreams, but dreams aren't really enough. You kind of have to have you kind of have to have wisdom. You have to have the aptitude to do this. And there is an aptitude you need to have in order to be in broadcasting. You need to be able to communicate effectively. You need to be able to be imaginative and creative and engaging with an audience. So you need to have this skill set. So even over and above whatever dreams you might have for what you want to be, without those particular skill sets, you might not be able to get these opportunities. So for me, radio was never my dream.
Yeah.
It's just that I just happened to be in need of a job.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to the radio one night, and the guy that was on was so terrible. He was so horrible. And so I said,
Who was that?
no, I'm not going to throw shade at my brother.
Yeah.
But the guy could barely string a sentence together.
Yeah.
And I was like, if that guy could get a job, surely I can. See, because, I was a recent graduate, and I wasn't getting called for any interviews. I was trying to run a video library bar business. It was failing.
Yeah.
The rent for the shop that I had rented had accumulated. I was struggling to survive. And I'm like, I can use every little penny I can get. So I'm going to walk up the hill to the top of Naguru Hill, to that radio station, and I'm going to ask for a job.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and then they said, okay, we do a voice test. Now, thankfully, at that time, in the late 90s, radio wasn't actually viewed as a very respectable profession. It's not something you would go around bragging, say, oh, I work in radio, which meant that there weren't that many people interested in working. So there were, fortunately, more vacancies then than there are now. But at that time, there happened to be one vacancy. So they told me, all right, you've passed the voice test, you have potential, so we're going to put you on training probation.
Yeah.
However, there is someone else who is interested in this position also. So she is also going to be in training probation.
Yeah.
And so based on whoever performs better during this probation, that's the one who'll get the job.
Yeah.
And I was there wondering, wow, I wonder who this person is. And then in walks this very bubbly, chubby, cute, light-skinned girl who was Crystal.
Crystal Newman, yeah.
Yeah. And I looked at her and I'm like, oh, she's so nice and sweet and cute, but I'm sorry, I'm gonna crush her. I have to destroy her. I need this job.
Yeah.
I'm drowning. So we did the probation and training, and fortunately, around the time that our period of probation was ending, another vacancy was created. A guy called John Miles, brother to Peter Miles.
Peter Miles.
He decided to go to Jamaica to be a Rasta or something. And so we now had two vacancies.
Yeah.
So they ended up taking both of us.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Now, how many months were you on probation? Because, many young people out there, when we tell them our stories, I've been on television for 12 years now, but when you tell them how you started out, how long your probation was, they're like, you took all that period without getting paid and you could still come to work. That's why I need to engage on this.
Okay,
and also
mine and Crystal's was 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh.
After 2 weeks, they said, all right, you're good enough, you're hired, and you're on the payroll.
Wow.
Yeah, just like that.
Wow. Briefly tell me, in your own lenses, how you see the industry, radio industry then, and the radio industry now, in terms of delivery.
I do sense a bit of an evolution. It could be because I'm more old school. I've been in the game longer. And for me, I subscribe to the notion of radio as theater of the mind. Let people imagine what's going on behind the scenes in the studio. Do your things in the studio, on your shows, but don't let people behind the kitchen.
Yeah.
Let them be mystified about what's actually going on, right? And so that's what we were doing initially. That was our approach to radio traditionally. And then with the advent of social media, live streaming, and that sort of technology, there now was a shift for radio to be more visual in its presentation.
Yeah.
So now a lot of radio stations do live streams of their on-air shows.
Yeah.
So now you go on Facebook or on Twitter, and the guy that's on the radio, you're now seeing him in the studio, just chilling around, just doing nothing, looking lousy and bored, not much going on. Yeah. And for me, it saddens me that everyone sort of embraced that model, because for me it cheapens radio. It just makes radio seem like a bunch of people just goofing around, and yet there's supposed to be artistry to it. Some thought put into it. It's not just a bunch of people jumping around in a studio shouting, yeah, hey, we're chilling, party time. Because now what's happened is that radio personalities are now starting to sound more like television personalities.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot of hype on the radio shows, but there's not much substance or content. And that is because we shifted our priorities to where, from theater of mind, based on the information you're conveying and delivering, to now more visual hype and excitement.
And popularity, I guess.
Exactly. And now radio stations are going to be hiring people that can bring that visual element. And they are choosing that at the expense of, what was the more traditionally appreciated talent, which was the ability to communicate, to be coherent, to be interesting, and to be engaging. So that's one shift I've seen, at least in terms of presentation.
Yeah.
But like I said, maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm a dinosaur, maybe I'm being left behind by the times.
Yeah. Now, question is, 21 years on radio, and you're still on top of your game. You're still running social media streets and main media streets. Question is, how have you been able to stay relevant for all these years? Some people get excited after 5 years, They are done, maybe they get their paycheck or some popularity that comes with it, but you've kept on going.
Well, first of all, thank you for those kind words. I'm quite, I feel flattered that you view me that way. But I would say that I'm interested in people. I like to have a keen interest in what people are thinking, what their aspirations are. And it goes back to what I was saying about the old school DJ, old school radio guy, which is pay attention to your audience, their lifestyles, their aspirations, their fears, their anxieties, their challenges, their dreams. Make sure you can connect. And for as long as you're able to do that, you will always be relevant. You will always have something to say that they will want to listen to. So I'm active on social media, but as opposed to other media personalities, I don't have a page. I have a personal account. Because that's what I want with my fans, is a personal relationship. I don't want you to think, you're subscribed to a fan page, because then that's so impersonal. But I like to get in there. So I say what I have to say. You reply to me. I reply to you. We go back and forth. We fight. It gets bloody sometimes. But you know what? It's all in good fun, and we all keep coming back. And given what has transpired recently at my old workplace, a lot of people have been voicing support, even people that you would think would be full of hatred for me. I think we have a mutual respect for one another, that even though we might battle on the ideas, I think they understand that I respect them, and I do feel like they respect me. So it's such a great relationship I've been able to build with my fans, and thanks to that, I feel like I've been able to keep being aware of who they are, what their dreams and aspirations are, so that I can communicate in ways that can still be meaningful to them.
We're actually about to get into the Sanyu FM issue, right? But from what I've seen online, from the time I started following you, even listening to your show, you come off as controversial. You don't say what people want to hear, Why do you think people think you're controversial?
I just think, we are a closed society. The world is a vast place with very many ideas. I think that a lot of people have been exposed to too few of those differing ideas and ideologies and viewpoints. And, I was not born in this country. I spent my formative years in Japan, where I was born,
You can speak some Japanese?
はい、少しだけ話せます。
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever that means.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so essentially, by the time I came back to Uganda, I had this experience of being a little bit of a fish out of water.
Yeah.
So I was a bit of an outsider. So I just had my eyes and ears open, just soaking in everything I could see around me.
Yeah.
And so that is how I came to understand, the way people are, what they think, and how they view the world. But then you see, I also had a foreign upbringing, which meant that I had some ideas and viewpoints that I had seen and absorbed from other places, which you could say maybe were not that commonly, people weren't that familiar with here or hadn't seen. So I just found myself enjoying sort of poking people and introducing them to some of these newer ideas that they may not have been aware of. Obviously, social media has made it easier for people to get even more exposed, but even then, there's still taboo subjects that people don't want to touch. And I find a lot of joy in probing those areas and getting people to talk about those things. Now, look, if something is a sacred cow to you, you're not going to like it when I poke it. Or when I poke you on it, you're going to feel offended. And some people take offense, feminists mostly.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I noticed online you are always advocating for rights of the
boy child.
Yes. Actually, in your
boy
words,
child,
you always caption
I got you.
Pictures
boy
with
child
words like,
movement.
You always caption pictures like the boy child has suffered, save the boy child.
Yeah.
What do you mean with these statements that you you always are, advocating for?
I just feel like everything's been one-sided for the last 50, 60 years. Everything is, the women are suffering, the women's issues, girl-child education, women's rights, and men have been neglected. Not just that, but we've been scapegoated for all of the evils of the world. We've been maligned, we're being falsely accused. I mean, it's just madness, the way men are being demonized. And I just noticed that in the media, there was just no one speaking up for the interests of men. It was all women this, women that. And look, it's all good. If women have issues, let them talk about it. But the way they were doing it is that they were doing it in a way that men were not allowed to have a voice. So it was like, men, shut up. It's now the women's turn to talk. So I decided, hey, we're not going to shut up. We're going to talk about our issues. We're going to talk about our experiences as men in this society, as how relationships are, our experiences in relationships, or marriage for those who are married, our challenges as men, as fathers, the rights of fathers, the situation of young boys, how they are being feminized and weakened and softened, the impact of single motherhood on the psychology of young boys. These are things that we wish to talk about and raise awareness of and have a conversation. So, I'm happy to be the lightning rod. I mean, I catch a lot of heat from the other side that doesn't want these conversations to be had, or the people who don't want these ideas to be disseminated, because the fact is, women do employ a lot of tricks in the relationship arena that men are very blind to. So someone's got to let the guys know how the game is being played.
What are some of those tricks that these women employ?
Well, okay, for starters, it's one of the biggest mysteries. They say, what do women want? So I'm sure you know of women who always complain that their boyfriends are players, they're jerks, they're unromantic, all those things, right? And so you would think that since those are their complaints, that what they would want is a man that is the opposite of that. That they would want a man that is sweet, that is caring, that is loving, that is loyal, all of those things, right? So the mistake men make is we approach the women we want while trying to display those qualities because we think that's what they want. So we go to the girls and we're nice, we're caring, we're sweet, romantic, and all these things. And then at the end of the day, we find ourselves being rejected by those women, even though we're presenting ourselves in this way. And then these same women end up running back to ex-boyfriends that treated them terribly.
Yeah.
Do you see? And so it has left a lot of men wondering, so what is it that they want?
That they want.
You say you want a gentleman. I'm a gentleman. I'm right here. So why are you running around with the player, with the thug, with the fool?
Oh, yeah.
You know, with the... So there is... So the secret behind it is this. No, it's not that women are lying when they say they want a man that's nice and sweet and romantic. It's that they're telling us half the story.
Yeah.
Because the full story goes like this. Yes, they want a man that is sweet and loving, caring, loyal, and romantic. But here's the catch. They want the guy that they like to be sweet, caring, loyal, and romantic.
And when they get that guy, yeah.
So they want the guy that they came to like for unrelated reasons to any of those qualities. Usually it's confidence, looks, attitudes, you know, those sorts of things. Charm. Those are the things that draw women to men. It's just that such men typically will have plenty of options.
Yeah.
They will be all over the place with different girls. And so when a woman says, I want a man who is romantic, she is saying that she wants that guy who she came to like for unrelated reasons to be the sweet, loyal, and romantic guy. So being sweet, loyal, and romantic is not what's going to get you the girl at all.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
So that's one of the many mysteries that men need to understand. And so you can consider that as a free advice for today.
A tip.
A free tip.
What are some of those things, you know, that draw women to you? Oh, yeah.
Well, here's a funny thing. So I catch a lot of heat from women for the views that I express.
Yeah.
I get plenty of messages from them excoriating me for my viewpoints. They tell me, who hurt you? Did you even have a mother? How can you say such things? You're terrible. You're a sexist. You're a misogynist. You know, they say all these things about me. And then they're sending me DMs behind the scene. Hey, do you want to meet for a coffee?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I need to take you for a drink one day. We need to talk about this.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the messages I get sent by the women who are abusing me constantly on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And then it often leads to an expression of interest.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny. It's like the ones that hate me the most seem to like me the most at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Quite interesting. I've also observed that your social media accounts have been suspended a number of times.
Yeah.
Could it be because of these feminists or these people that disagree because of your ideas?
Yeah, I think I get a lot of my posts get flagged when they offend some people. They get reported, and so Facebook takes action against it and suspends me. Yeah. But also, Facebook has a very strict and rigid policy of what kind of content is permissible. So sometimes it is Facebook itself that takes the action. So you can post something and it'll just say, oh, this violates our terms and whatever. But of course, if you're trying to have meaningful conversations with people, the kind of content you're going to put up will, by definition, have to be provocative and shocking, and, you know. But a lot of these social medias, they're so, you know, you've heard of political correctness. There's certain ideas you're not allowed to share. So so they'll take down posts like that, or they will suspend your account. So I've had to create 2 separate accounts. Oh, yeah? Yeah, keep them going at the same time. So if they shut down one account, the other one's running. If they shut down that one, the other one's back on. Like that. It's a weird tangle. So it's crazy. But, you know, that's what you have to do. You need to find a way to cope with it, and that's how I'm dealing with it.
Yeah. I also read somewhere that you're not a Christian, you don't believe in Christian beliefs. I don't know how true that is.
Well, culturally, I am a Christian.
What do you mean by culturally you're a Christian?
I am a cultural Christian.
Okay.
In that I believe in the values of the Christian faith.
Okay.
I just don't subscribe to the theology of the Christian faith. So I believe in the love thy neighbor, love one another, you know, be respectful, don't kill, don't steal. Like all of those values are a part of me, and I respect them. It's just that the actual theological beliefs behind them, I don't subscribe to. So I don't believe in the. I don't believe in. All right, let me put it like this. I am an atheist.
You're an atheist.
Yes.
Who are those?
An atheist is a person that does not believe that there is a God in existence.
Wow.
Yes.
So-
An atheist believes that religions are man-made. They believe that a lot of these religious ideas evolved through cultures, shared cultures, and sometimes combined cultures, and that these ideas have evolved over time and codified and have become sort of religious orthodoxies.
Yeah.
And there's so many religions in this world, you see, all claiming that that specific religion is the path to salvation or the only true description of reality. And the question I always ask is, okay, so which religion is right then? If all are claiming to be true, if there are so many gods that people are claiming to worship, who's the real God and which is the true religion?
Yeah.
And it is a question that theologians have wrestled with for, for hundreds of years. And a lot of people think it may not even be a settled question, a question that can be settled, which is why it is something you take up on faith. You know?
Okay.
It is something that you have faith in, you believe in it, because it has meaning for you. And so I would never begrudge anyone that wishes to have faith in a belief system that gives their life meaning, that gives them an understanding of how the cosmos came to be, how the universe came into existence, and what the ultimate destiny for humanity is. If you have a belief system that is going to guide you through your life, help you through your challenges and struggles, hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to cheer you on.
Yeah.
I only get concerned where it crosses the line to where people start to become negatively affected. So, the pastor who is going to demand money from people for miracles. The pastor is going to tell members of the congregation that, I will cure your AIDS if you will only pay a tithe or you come for these prayers.
Yeah.
See, because now that's dangerous territory. Because now that's a life or death situation.
Yeah.
A lot of people have stopped using ARVs because on one Sunday they were told by their pastor that they were healed.
Yeah.
And they've lost their lives. And that's terrible. And so once it crosses that line, that's where I'm like, no, someone needs to speak up.
Yeah.
And there are many Christians who speak up against such religious frauds, really. That's what they are.
For how long have you been an atheist? Is it something that, did you convert when you're still a young child, maybe when you're in Japan, or it's something that you adopted?
Okay, Japan is a very secular country. Most people in Japan are not religious. That could partly explain my leanings. But also, atheism isn't so much for me a belief system, but rather it is a lack of one.
Yeah.
So it's not like that, I am certain I believe there is no God. No, that's not it. It's like I'm open to the idea of there being one. There could be one. It's just thus far I'm not compelled to believe it. Maybe one day I will be. And when that day comes, maybe everyone will throw a party for me. Who knows?
Let's imagine, first, do you believe in marriage?
No.
And, okay, all right. Now, if you found yourself in a situation where you're in a relationship with this girl, and let's say she's a Hajati, she's an Islam, or she's a Christian, and she would actually want you to convert, to maybe an Islam.
Many have tried.
Christian.
Many have tried. So the thing is, I do have a keen interest in religious matters.
Yeah.
I have studied religion. I studied philosophy. I have a diploma in philosophy. I've studied philosophy of religion, ethics, logic, all these things. And I've read the Bible a whole lot, cover to cover.
Yeah.
And I understand the various schools of thought, eschatology, biblical hermeneutics, various interpretations. I'm waist deep in this stuff. So quite often, many of my Christian friends, whether they be men or women, they get surprised when they try to discuss these things with me. And they find that I know more about it than they do. So for the women that have been in my life that have tried to get me to convert, what has typically happened is we end up having a debate about it.
Yeah.
And then they just get frustrated.
And then they get frustrated. One of my media friends sent me, just sent a message here. We're going to be considering the messages coming through our WhatsApp number. The studio line, that will be later on. Someone here just said something. Let me see. So many messages here. But it's like, okay. Let me see. All right. Okay, there are so many messages. I'll return to these messages maybe later. Okay, it's saying, if it was in football, a career like yours would be capped by a testimonial match. And I guess he's wondering the circumstances under which you parted ways with Sanyu FM, a station that you were loyal to for 21 years. Question is, did you ever think that your divorce with Sanyu FM would be this ugly?
No, I thought it would be a very romantic divorce. I mean, I knew obviously I wasn't going to be there forever. Nothing lasts forever. But I always imagined that if that day were to come, that I'd have time to just revel in those final moments, to relish them, to have a week or two or even a month to just connect with my listeners, let them know of what's happening, of whatever new plans I have, thanking them for my support, having them call in, talk with them, laugh with them, and then to be able to finally on the final day say, hey guys, I'm bowing out, I'm signing out, it's been awesome, it's been an honor, catch you on the other side. Wow, I wanted to go out like that. But I guess COVID-19 had other plans for me.
Wow. Now, there's a narrative that I'm seeing online that is being advanced that you led a strike, a sit-down strike at Sanyu FM. Matter of fact, some people are making it seem like you were the ringleader. And of course, it saw other, people within Sanyu FM also appending their signatures to put the tools down. Reasons that you're about to share with the country.
Well, I don't want to get into too much detail, but the truth is actually quite shocking. And it will come out. The truth will come out. But it is quite shocking.
Yeah.
But just going by what people now know from what has been made public, I'll start by saying that it is not true that I was the ringleader of anything. I'm really just being made the fall guy. Yeah? I'm just being made the fall guy as a way for the company to save face. I had nothing to do with the orchestration of the strike. I didn't devise it. I didn't encourage it. And really, when you eventually find out how it came to be and what the and who the real people behind it were, you will be shocked.
Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to call it a setup, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the truth will come out. Now, they say that we weren't happy with the salary cuts, and therefore that's why we went on strike.
Oh, yeah, the 25%.
Yeah. But the thing is, all right, speaking for myself, I was the highest paid personality at this station. I'd been there many years, so I was the highest paid guy.
Yeah.
And so this salary cuts, while it was inconvenient, obviously, it wasn't causing me like a big problem.
Yeah.
I was still going to be comfortable. It just meant I had to realign my spending a little bit. Maybe it means going on fewer holidays abroad or partying less a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was going to have no problem taking care of myself and my sweet dog, Rukia. Okay?
Yeah.
Rukia is my only dependent. I don't have a wife. I don't have children. My mother is fine. My family is fine. Everyone's doing okay. So a 25% cut to my salary, and I was the highest paid presenter, was not going to affect me to the point that I would even want to strike. So there had been murmurings that a pay cut could happen. I mean, we had seen trends happening in the industry. We knew that various companies were taking such measures. So we kept imagining that it could be, such a thing could be in the pipeline. It was never communicated to us formally, but we kind of imagined it could be in the pipeline. And so when it finally happened for the end of May salary, you know, a lot of us looked at our accounts and said, well, looks like it finally dropped. Too bad. Let's hope for better times. And then we were told by our line managers. So at this station, you have three layers of hierarchy. It's a three-tier system of hierarchy where at the top, you've got the owners of the business, the Indians. And then at the middle, there are the line managers, the Africans who head the departments. And this would include the chief operating officer, who is really kind of like the general manager overseeing things. And then there's the rest of us. So we all fall under the line managers, the presenters, the administrators, accountants, technicians, cleaners, the wananchi of the company, if I can put it that way. The civilians. Right? So you've got the civilians, you've got the generals, and then you've got the
field marshals. And emperors.
So the generals came to the sergeants, to the civilians, right? And said, okay, guys, here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. We all need you to be a part of this. Don't worry. We're talking to the field marshals. It's all going to work out. But we just need to put this statement out there to let them know that we're keen on moving forward with discussions. So just come on board. It's going to be fine. We're like, you guys sure about this? Because we guys were happy to keep working. Because the narrative is, we got the pay cuts and we stomped our feet and said we're not showing up for work. That is not true.
Actually, that's the picture that the public is getting.
True. It is the middle managers, the line managers, that came to us with the plan. They hatched the plan and they came to us to co-sign on it. That's what happened.
Why are you seem to be the sacrificial lamb or the scapegoat?
I'm the fall guy. So they're saying I was the ringleader, that I misled people. But take my word for it. The truth is going to come out and it will shock everyone. Like, you are not going to believe how this went down.
On the page, on your social media accounts, you actually took it to Twitter and said, guys, I've been fired from Sanyu FM. It's like you're making it point blank to the public out there. Was it after you had received your letter for termination of contract, or you actually able to preempt what?
No, we all received emails notifying us of our termination on Wednesday evening.
Now, cutting the salary cut, the 25% cut, did it take you guys by surprise, or they first engaged you on the challenges therein?
No, because we were not formally notified that there would be a cut.
Wow.
It's just there were murmurings, but then our line managers had kept giving us reassurances that, hey, don't worry, we're fighting for you guys to make sure this doesn't happen. We're trying to make the case for how we can keep going. You guys have been coming to work every day, so you don't deserve a cut. So don't worry, we're gonna fight for you. This is what they told us. So essentially, really, the context of all this is that we had entrusted our fate to the line managers, who we were convinced were on the front lines fighting on our behalf. So when they hatched the plan to take this action in response to the cuts and brought it to us to co-sign, we were under the impression that they knew what they were doing and that they were merely using this to probably inject some leverage in the negotiations that they were trying to have with the owners. And then they came back and told us, hey, we're making progress. They've said that they're going to meet us to discuss the way forward, so hang tight.
Yeah.
Don't go to work tomorrow.
Wow. And then
so the line managers told us, don't go to work tomorrow. And we asked, till when?
Yeah.
We will let you know. Do you see how this is weird?
Yeah, it is. It is weird from what you're actually sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I see, I saw something like they abscond from duty.
Yep.
They were not willing to listen to the challenges that all companies are experiencing during this COVID-19 period.
But we understood it.
Yeah.
We understood it perfectly. We were still prepared to come to work. Just, in the back of our minds, hoping that, hey, maybe the situation will reverse.
Yeah.
Maybe things will get better. We were prepared to come to work. It's just our line managers came to us and said, all right, guys, here's the plan of action. Here's what we're going to do. Don't worry, we got it. Here's the letter. Just sign it. We'll handle it.
Yeah. I've read somewhere in Daily Monitor, I guess on their website, that the proprietors of Sanyu FM actually asking you guys to go beg and reapply for your jobs. Is it something that you have considered?
Me?
Oh, yeah.
No. No, I think, no. I could never work there again, given what has been done. I mean, they're scapegoating me.
Do you feel betrayed?
They're hanging me out to dry, calling me the bad guy.
Do you feel betrayed?
Of course. I mean, 21 years I gave these people, and this is how they want to end it, calling me the bad guy that caused all this.
Yeah.
Really? Because the truth is going to come out, and people are just not even going to believe it.
Yeah.
It's that ridiculous. It's that ridiculous.
Question is, where does this leave the brand? Because you see, you're moving out as an army, who are running the different, programs. And you've all withdrawn your guns, your artillery. Where does this leave the station?
Well, this has happened to the station before. It's funny. They say history repeats itself.
Yeah.
In the mid-90s, it could be 96. This was the generation of Rasta Rob, RS Elvis, back when they were working at Sanyu. And they, I think, wanted a salary increment. They wanted to be paid more.
Yeah.
So they weren't getting paid cuts. They just thought they were being paid little. They wanted to be paid more money.
Yeah.
And at that time, some news stations were coming up, and I think they were receiving offers. So they went to the owners and said, hey, increase our salary or else we're leaving.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of them actually loved working at Sanyu. Sanyu, one of its advantages has always been a hands-off approach to management. As long as you were showing up to work and not messing up too much, they pretty much let you do things the way you wanted.
Yeah.
Which is why, many listeners will say Sanyu FM always had this air of, it was a very personable station.
Yeah.
And the presenters were personal. And I think it was because of that culture of hands-off approach.
Yeah.
So anyway, that crop of presenters in 96 went on strike, and then they were all fired.
Yeah.
And then they went on to other radio stations. And then, isn't it funny how something similar happens in 2020,
yeah.
where on account of a strike, once again the company decides to let go of everybody. Although in this case, I'm understanding that they are inviting people to reapply for their jobs. Apparently, they're supposed to say that it was Fat Boy's fault. I'm very sorry. Fat Boy misled me. I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for Fat Boy's tricks and lies. Please give me back my job. I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, why? Why would I go on strike? Why? Wow. I was paid a lot of money. I could survive comfortably on the deduction.
Yeah.
I come from a wealthy family. I could even stop working now. I'll be okay. Why do I go on strike for 25% cut? For what? When I have no dependents other than my sweet little Rukia. A little dog around this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no reason to go on strike. It's ridiculous. And then now to call me the ringleader of it, it's a joke.
Wow. Now, question is, I know for shows like Alive and Kicking, I used to be a huge fan from the time of Dr. Michi Gwang. To your time, Django Baby, there is that the background bed that
Django Boogie.
Django Boogie, yeah, which was your signature background, yeah, sound. To Sanyu Breakfast, from your time with Shanice, to Melanie, and a couple of other people that you've worked with. I know when you took over from Mitch Igwang, I don't know how easy or how hard it was for you to build that brand and presence that people loved you, because it's visible from the following and love that you are commanding all over. Anyone that is on social media, they can actually be able to see that brand presence and command that you have with your loyal ardent fans. I was actually reading, I saw a couple of tweets. If we could have some of these tweets production showing on screen right now. There are a couple of tweets. I saw one from, let me see if I can get to them. Yeah, there's one here. Mackenzie Brand says, "Let me say this. Fatboy James Onen is Uganda's most valuable urban radio personality. It's not even close when it comes to skill, but I look up to nobody else but him. Legend." That's one. Let's go. There is another one here by Rakakamba Morrison. He says, "Mr. James Onen, a.k.a. Fatboy, is thoughtful. He was not just a radio presenter, but rather a curious instigator and a teacher. I enjoyed his classes via his 88.2 Sanyu FM morning show. Where is the next stop?" That's the question from Morrison Rakakamba. Of course, from there we've been seeing a couple of other, pictures being shared online. I saw Capital also shared a picture of you with their, teardrop. I've seen a couple of stories online. Have companies already started reaching out? Have you already put pen to paper? Yeah.
And I guess it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about the value of investing time in building a career, a brand, a name. Because when things like this happen, options abound. So yes, it is true. A lot of people are talking to me. A lot of people are reaching out to me and making inquiries about my interest or availability. There are things I'm interested in. There are some personal projects I'm interested in exploring. My family has also suggested to me that I get more involved in the family enterprise now that I have the time.
Okay.
Hey, since you have no job, how about you come run things here with us a little bit? So So that's it. So there are a number of things on the table, and look, it all just went down on Wednesday. So, and I really haven't had time to process it. Like I've been, going to different places to talk about what happened. So I haven't really had time to catch a breath. So hopefully in the coming days I will have that moment to myself to, to reflect on my available options and, think about what I want to do next. Because one of the things I'm thinking of doing is pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's something cooking.
There's something cooking.
Yeah, and if I do it, it's going to be big. So,
but something is indeed cooking.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you this question, and I know this is not just about you alone, but the on-air personalities, media personalities who greatly contribute to building these brands that we serve. Do you think that we have been given the respect that we deserve from the input that we offer basically these different outlets that we serve? Or they still look at media personalities as, someone who, you just come, you do your entertaining for 1 or 2, 1 hour, 2 hours. They give you some peanuts. At the end of the day, they can trash you as and when they feel like.
All right, so I mean, a lot of people are hungry for success. I do find that a lot of people are impatient, though. So, my sister Sheila Gashumba, for one, was saying how don't accept to be paid 50,000 shillings.
Oh yeah.
Know your worth, know your value. And to that, my thoughts were that sometimes it takes time to build your brand, your name, and your value. Because, when I started out, I was really earning next to nothing.
Yeah. And
yet at the time of my departure, I'm one of the highest paid in the industry. I put in the work, I put in the time, I put in the sweat, the blood, and the tears, all of it. So I am at a place where I can look around and see options and potential for what I can do next. And really that's a blessing, which might sound strange coming from an atheist, but it's a blessing. So with regards to the idea that, these sort of personalities are maybe mistreated or are just paid peanuts or they're just here 1 minute and not there the next, I think people just need to be more focused and think more long-term than short-term.
Yeah. All right. There is a comment here coming in from Nisima Edward. He tweeted, you listen to fat boys speak, then you listen to other radio chaps. There is a difference, a fat one. James is in his own league. May he find a Sanyu in his next gig. Now, my question is, where does this live? Actually, it takes us to the other question which you didn't respond to. When you took over from Uncle Mitch, now we are having Patrick Salvador. He's been heavy on social media. I'm actually seeing some influencers also doing their thing online. Where does this leave the person that is taking over from you, for them to get that presence, that command that you had?
Salvador himself said it best because, some listeners are understandably giving him some grief over his new position at the station.
Yeah.
A lot of it really not his fault. I think that directing some of their anger at the station to him because he sort of symbolizes this sudden abrupt transition that many people view as unjust.
Yeah.
So they're giving him grief for that, but also they're giving him grief over the fact that he's sort of a polar opposite of me and of my style. And he said this. He said, people are saying that I have huge shoes to fill, but, and I'm paraphrasing, I won't say it accurately, but I'm here in my own shoes.
Yeah.
And that was a very important point. Salvador will never succeed by trying to be me. He's going to succeed by being him. And he is going to succeed for sure. I have no doubt. He's going to grow to become a big name in radio. I mean, that's if he is serious about it and if he plans to put in the time and the effort. Because as I understand it, he's been on radio before elsewhere. I'm not sure what came of that, but hey, if he's going to be serious about it now, then he has the potential to even surpass me. Definitely. So I would never agree that the events that have occurred means that that the station is in any trouble. They'll bounce back. They have many times. They'll go on. They were there before me, and they will be there after me. Nothing will change. But also for Salvador, he will do great. I have every confidence in him. I know him personally. He's very talented. He's very gifted. He can pull it off.
Yeah. Another one here, before I get to the questions, man, we've done so far 1 hour non-stop.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. An hour straight. But you're one of those guys, you've not, really won so many local awards, right? But you command a lot of respect. That if they are talking about the top 3 radio personalities, at least you come among the first 2. And for me, I look at you as someone that hasn't been defined by these awards, accolades. Because I see sometimes in this industry, sometimes we get carried away by the accolades that come by, they get to some people's heads sometimes. What advice would you give to, the rookies, the new guys in the industry that get carried away by the awards?
Well, that's really unfortunate, and a lot of these rookies do tend to lose sight of the bigger picture, so that they end up pursuing fame rather than excellence. I have a different problem. I actually don't like fame. If you must know the truth, I am an introvert. I hate being around too many people.
Yeah.
You're not going to see me in so many places, clubs, parties, what. I mostly like to be at home with my little dog.
Yeah.
And just chill, do my thing, okay? So I've always focused on the job at hand. What is it that happens when I turn on the microphone? What content am I delivering? A lot of my peers, they're going to turn on their phones and do live streams and jump around and be crazy and all that. No, I'm more interested in what comes out of the speaker when I turn on the microphone. When I say something, is it going to be impactful? Is it going to be meaningful? Is it going to be interesting? Is it going to be memorable, relevant?
Yeah.
I kept my eye on that and just away from all of the fanfare and the all of that sort of glitz and attention.
Yeah.
And, well, if the saying is true that proof is in the pudding, perhaps, being able to sit here after 21 years and to be able to reflect on this long career says to me that maybe that was the right approach for me. Maybe that was what I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm.
Would you ever consider, or has it ever crossed your mind, maybe have you ever thought of starting your own radio station? I was talking to one of the engineers here and was telling me that, 300 million, 500 for a start, you can kick the door, hit the road. Would you ever look at it as an investment?
Well, I mean, hey, never say never. But I've never understood the logic, though, that if you're in a profession for a long time, that you must therefore start a business in it. Like, if you are Larry King, should you launch a news network? If you're Wolf Blitzer, should you create your own CNN? I mean, I feel like there is a very important distinction between professionals and entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be combined, but I think too often a lot of professionals try to go into entrepreneurship and they actually fail.
Yeah.
I think upwards of 90% of startup businesses fail in this country and probably around the world. And it is because regardless of how passionate you are about wanting to be an entrepreneur, if you don't have the aptitude for it and the discipline for it, it's really a totally different skill set.
Yeah.
So just being able to be good at a particular profession doesn't necessarily mean you'll be a good businessman in that profession.
Yeah.
So maybe it's safe to say that, hey, stay in your lane. I mean, if you're an excellent doctor, be an excellent doctor. If you're an excellent scholar, be an excellent scholar. You don't need to necessarily start your own university because you've been a scholar for 50 years. But it doesn't mean I won't consider it. It doesn't mean I won't consider going into radio business. So,
what defines a successful media personality in your own, perspective?
I mean, it's subjective, isn't it? Because it depends on what someone thinks a successful media personality is. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching who are right now even asking themselves, who's that guy, by the way? Never heard of him. There's people who probably don't think I'm all that. And then there are those that might like me somehow.
That's our boy,
So you would have to ask those that, think of me kindly. What is it they think they see in me that they appreciate? But if I had to guess, I would think that they appreciate my openness, my honesty, and the fact that I respect them. I think it is not lost on them that I have a lot of respect for them, for my listeners, for my audience, and anyone that engages with me. And I think it is why I've been able to build this relationship. Because that's what it is. It's a relationship. If you want to be in media, it's about the relationship you create with your with your audience.
Yeah.
So what makes a radio personality great? Really, it is the ability to engage, and it is to the extent that you can do that, you're really doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know there's obviously many people that are doing great in this industry. I'm just one of many. But we all bring something different to the table, and I think different people pick different things about us that they like.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some that like me a little bit, like another a little bit, another one more, like that. It's like a buffet of entertainment personalities, and I'm just one of the dishes. I'm the side dish.
All right. As I conclude my questions, I'm left with just 2 questions. What are some of your best moments at Sanyu FM? I know you've had quite a number. You've also had the controversial bit of it, and there was that exchange between you and Bebe Cool. But what was like one of the key highlights in the years that you've served with Sanyu FM?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Can anyone answer a question like that? because every moment is different and unique and special. But I think the time that yes. It was the time we were crossing over from the Naguru station to Crane Chambers.
Yeah.
So I was the one that did the crossover. Because, so what happened was, in 2001, the station was bought by Sudhir Ruparelian from the Katos.
Yes.
And so the station was now going to move its operations from Kato's house in Naguru to Sudhir's building at Crane Chambers. So there was going to be a moment that we were going to switch off the Naguru feed and put out the feed from the new studio in Crane Chambers. So I was the guy that was at the desk, behind the microphone at that moment when we came live in the new building and in the new studio. I thought that was very exciting. I thought that was very, very exciting, actually. That moment was quite exciting. And isn't it tragic that, I mean, when you think of how things ended, that I was the first guy to go live from the studios of the new owners who have elected to end this long relationship under such painful circumstances. It sucks, man. It's not good.
Painful exit.
Yeah.
Did you cry? Did you get emotional when you got this? Because you see, when you work with a company for many years, sometimes you get attached. In Sanyu you may find you even had your special seat. How did you?
Some people said, "Hey, you've been there 20 years. Why don't they just give you shares?"
I know. I'm always reminded of that. Yeah, I'm equally reminded of that. Yeah. Why don't they just give you shares?
Yeah, man, you've been there that long. You're gonna die there, so they might as well. But no, I mean, look, I look back on the years that I spent there, and I mean, look, there were good times. Yeah. Most of it was good. It's just, recent events, globally have just messed things up for everybody. Yeah. And I guess I will enter into the statistics as one of the victims. Of COVID-19. Yeah. I didn't catch the disease, but the disease definitely caught me.
Caught you. Meanwhile, are you guys considering maybe taking legal action? Because I've seen, people sharing different thoughts online in regard to
well, I am not
your predicament.
So I'm not a vindictive person. I like to think of the future. Yeah. I like to not always look back at pain or suffering. I like to always think ahead. So I don't know that I'd want to get mired in a lot of stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I do feel I was done wrong, to be sure, but I don't know that I'd want to get mired in that. I'm getting a lot of advice on it. Yeah. People are reaching out to me and expressing an interest to do something about it. Yeah. I mean, my phone hasn't stopped ringing for 3 days.
I saw the tweets when someone had taken over Sanyu FM's Twitter handle.
Yeah. We don't know who did it. We've talked amongst ourselves as presenters.
Yeah.
No one knows who was responsible for those tweets.
Yeah.
If it was a hack or if it was deliberate by them, we don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it certainly wasn't us.
Yeah.
You're referring to the tweets in which someone was threatening, was asking people for legal representation.
Oh, yeah, yes.
We know nothing about it. But what I can tell you is, everyone's keeping their options open. Some have elected to apply for their jobs back by, I guess, apologizing and saying they were misled by me.
They kneeled down the upper
The ringleader.
Yeah. I saw David. David also hung his gloves. I saw a tweet by David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. So him and I, we've decided to walk away. It's just, you can't go back after this. You can't.
Yeah. Does it also take knowing your value that, yes, there is a point where you're like, I think enough is enough?
Well, yeah, it really does. Really, it's a matter of pride. And by the way, I don't begrudge anyone that would want to continue to work there.
Yeah.
The people that are apologizing to the company and asking for their positions back. Look, do your hustle, man. I mean, obviously, people have their own considerations, their own responsibilities. Not having a job at this time is not something a lot of people would be comfortable with. They've got kids, responsibilities. I'm less, how can I say, like I said, I have fewer responsibilities and dependence. I don't have kids I have to be sending to school or to feed. It's just me and
you consider
Ruki.
maybe, replacing that. It's a puppy, a cat?
No, she's a dog.
It's a dog.
Yeah.
Replacing that dog with, a partner.
A what?
A partner.
You mean a woman?
Yes.
Oh.
Hey, is it one of those things that you're considering?
But I mean,
because you're now.
I do date. If that's what you
date.
mean. Yes.
Do you consider?
I just will not get married.
You consider maybe having kids in future?
Huh?
Having kids in future. Have you ever thought of that?
It's possible. Yeah.
It's possible.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fat Boy, aka F Busy, real names on James Onen, joining us for an exclusive 1 hour and 10 minutes uninterrupted.
Wow.
Oh yes.
How is it that you got me to talk for this long?
I guess I'm equally gifted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Let's see some questions that are coming through different platforms, and we see. Okay. Let me see. Fat Boy is a goat. That is greatest of all time. Oh yes. Oh. Please get another radio. Radio is gonna, be stuck with you. Another one here is saying, I swear the guy is a professional. We're watching you live from Tireka. Davis, you're watching us live from, this is Kigali, Rwanda. You're saying a first time to know about you, but he says you're an intelligent guy.
Oh, yeah?
Kigali.
What?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Watch out.
Yeah, this Onen has really lived the life of an introvert. One thing I would advise him is to stop moving from one media house to the next, then attempt to clear his name. Like he said, the bitter truth will come out. How does the next employer perceive this? John Bosco is saying that. But I think this could be your second interview, right?
Oh, fifth, sixth?
Fifth interview. Have
Yeah,
you done
because
in a TV interview?
Yeah, so just to be clear,
Yeah.
I'm getting contacted by people
Oh,
who
yeah.
want to hear my story and who are interested in talking to me about my legacy.
Yeah.
And I guess I feel no reason to decline these invitations. If someone wants to talk to me, I'll come on and I'll talk about my life, whatever they want to talk about. So as to whether or not it might reflect poorly on me, look, I mean, it's just the truth. So take it as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, already I'm being accused of being the leader of a revolution, a strike, which I had nothing to do with. They're saying I misled people. I mean, I can't just keep quiet and not challenge that.
Oh, yeah.
I have to come out and say the truth. But that's absolutely false. And
I totally agree with you. And just for clarity purposes, I invited James Onen because I believe his legacy, his journey inspires millions of young people out there who would want to join this media industry. Yeah, that is the main thing. That's why you're even finding that the other issues are just a by the way. But for purposes of clarity still, I mean, if you can't speak out on matters that you think are affecting you in one way or the other, then you can't call yourself intelligent.
I mean, it's all good.
Let's read just a couple of others. Okay, do we have an association of media personalities that would mediate in instances where, you know, employer is taking advantage of the employee? Do we?
I don't know if there is such a thing. I don't know.
Does Wuja do that? You know?
But ultimately, I feel like the power is in your hands. Like, really, you are the main defender of you. So you're the one that needs to stand up for what you believe in.
All right, there's a question here from Tony Kent. He works with Magic 100 FM. He says he's a big fan and he's tuned in. And he says that, as he received his terminal benefits, he has responded to most of these questions. Maybe one last one. Was Shanice's saga a stunt? And maybe is also equally asking of the co-hosts that you've worked with, from Shanice to Melanie and a couple of others, who was your best?
I always find that question funny. I get asked it a lot. I mean, I was the consistent factor on the program. The ladies kept loving me and leaving me. They'd come and go. Like a rolling stone. But I would have to say all of them were amazing, and all of them were uniquely gifted and talented, and that I have so much respect for. But, you know, if you had to twist my arm and ask me who did I have the most fun with working on the show, that would have to be Melanie.
Melanie.
Yes. This is my personal opinion. And by the way, there's people who have different feelings on this. Some people much preferred it when I was with Shanice, others with Crystal, others with Joe, who I was working with in my closing period. So I guess each person has their own favorite season of the TV series.
We are left with 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I will consider maybe 3 more messages here from the viewers. Okay, most people are just throwing compliments. I believe in what Fatboy is saying because that some people are manipulated by their pastors. It's a person is sharing that. We're having Japadola. Japadola is tuned in live from London. He's a big fan and he's saying, I've enjoyed this interview. Fatboy is a huge talent and I wish him all the very best. I'll maybe read another one. This one is in London. Let's see. Okay, I believe in what Fatboy is saying. Okay, I already read that. All right, someone in Qatar. Okay, the issue of marriage, you've already talked about it. Maybe 2 more. Okay, I totally agree with Fatboy with the notion of supporting the boy child. Lastly, is a new one just coming in. Thanks for putting that across. Follow up and start an association to defend the industry and professionals. The name is Wycliffe. So far,
I think I will always be there to speak out on behalf of people in the media. I mean, I have been a part of the fraternity, so I will obviously not be silent where there are things that need to be said. In your final remarks, what will you tell your employer if you had an opportunity of meeting him now, maybe in your final remarks? I wasn't the ringleader.
You're not the ringleader. That brings us to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a Horizon Vibe exclusive with Fatboy. Earlier on, I was talking to Nina Rose. Thank you guys for making a date with us, and a big thank you to those who have been following the stream online. It's been yours truly, Calvin the Entertainer. You can follow me at Calvin UG, that is on Twitter, at Calvin UG, Instagram, at Calvin the Entertainer on Facebook. They can follow you. How can they follow you?
I have 2 accounts on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just look for James Onen on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 places where you can find me.
All right. And who is your favorite radio personality?
In Uganda?
In Uganda. Or even outside Uganda. Actually, for me, I would compare you to Charlemagne the God. It's controversial, but, he's really good. He's an intelligent guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I think my biggest influence in radio, a person I admired, the person that I actually measured myself against as I was building my persona and gauging my progress. This was Rick Dees.
Rick Dees?
Yeah.
Weekly Top 40?
Yeah. So Rick Dees was my guy, and he's my idol.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We have to wrap up. Time is up. I had one more question, but I guess I'll ask you this off air. Can time allow maybe one question? Production? All right. Now, when do you tell, is there a moment when you can tell that enough is, that this is a time for you to retire?
I've been thinking about...
Are there signs, or do you have to wait to be pushed out?
I feel like, you see, and that's why, and again, it'll sound funny coming from an atheist, but it almost feels like there is such a thing as a destiny. And I feel like the universe just knows when the time for something has come.
Yeah.
And when I look upon the recent events and my exit from the station, I feel like maybe this has been a long time coming. I feel like, and this is why it's funny, more than anything, I'm overwhelmed with optimism and excitement.
Yeah.
Like I've never felt this excited in my life about the future, because I think in hindsight, I will look upon what happened as a good thing.
Yeah.
That this will sort of lead me to new places and new adventures in my life. So who knows? I might write a letter to my bosses saying, "Hey guys, thanks for kicking me out.
It was a blessing."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Thank you so much for your time again, bro, and thank you for coming through. Blessings, guys. That brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much again for tuning in to UBC and Magic One. Bless. We out.